So, have you ever really thought about the life of a drone bee? It's kind of wild when you stop and look at it. A drone bee doesn't work, it doesn't gather nectar, it doesn't protect the hive. Its whole life is just waiting. Waiting for that one moment to mate with the queen. And when that moment finally comes, that's it. Game over, he dies. Just like that. It's almost like nature built him for a single job. A job that sounds important, sure, but once it's done, he's no longer needed. And he's thrown away, forgotten. Just another tiny body on the ground while the hive keeps moving. Now, here's where it gets real. Because this isn't just about bees. It's about us. So many people, especially men, but not just men, grow up being told what their role is supposed to be. Be strong, be useful, provide, don't cry, don't feel too much. Just work hard, make things happen, and don't complain. And then, when they've given all they had, when they're tired or broken or can't serve that role anymore, silence. No one checks in. No one asks if they're okay. It's like, thanks. You served your purpose. You can go now. It hurts. It really does. Because deep down, we all want to matter for more than just what we can do. We want to matter for who we are. But so many people live like drones, waiting, serving, giving, and never feeling truly seen. And let's be honest, some of us have felt like that, haven't we? You give and give, maybe to your family, your job, your friends, and then one day you need someone and they're nowhere. You start to wonder if they ever really cared about you or just what you could offer. And when that thought creeps in, man, it's hard to shake. It's a quiet kind of pain. The kind of pain you carry without even realizing it. Like you're walking through life with this invisible weight strapped to your chest, smiling, nodding, showing up, but feeling like you're fading inside. The truth is, we were never meant to live like drones. Not you, not me, not anyone. Because even if the world tries to reduce you to just a role, just a paycheck, a provider, a function, your soul is not a machine. You're not here just to do something. You're here to be something. To live, to feel, to find meaning in more than just output. But yeah, I get it. It's hard to believe that when your worth has always been tied to your usefulness, when love felt conditional, when people only showed up when they needed something. The drone bee teaches us something sad but important. That not all roles serve your soul. Some roles are cages built by biology, tradition, or society, and if you don't wake up, you end up dying inside long before your body gives out. You don't need to stay in that cage. Take a second. Just breathe. If this is hitting close to home, that's okay. It means you're awake. It means your heart's still beating and it wants more than just duty. And hey, if you ever feel like no one really sees you, just know. This space does. You belong here. You're not alone. If this felt like truth to you, stay close. Subscribe, breathe, and grow with us. There's more where this came from. There's a philosopher named Arthur Schopenhauer. He saw the world in a way that stripped away illusions. Cold at times, yes, but clear. And strangely, comforting in its honesty. Schopenhauer believed that life is not guided by reason or love, but by a hidden force. He called it the will, a blind, irrational energy that moves all living things. It doesn't think and it doesn't care. It just wants to keep going, to push forward, to survive, to reproduce. He said, man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. That's the trap. We think we're free, but so often our choices come from places we don't even understand, from instincts, expectations, urges, things passed down from nature or society, things we never questioned. The drone bee is a perfect example. He exists for one purpose, to serve the will of the hive. And once he's fulfilled that role, he dies, quietly, forgotten. That same pattern echoes in human life. So many people are born into a role. They grow up being told what to do, how to act, what to become. And once they've done all of it, once they've given their strength, their years, their effort, their set aside, their usefulness fades, and so does the attention around them. Schopenhauer didn't soften this truth. He wrote, "The longer a man lives, the more clearly he sees that life is a disappointment." But he wasn't trying to break us. He wanted us to stop expecting life to be something it's not, to stop pretending that everything happens for a reason, to see things clearly, and from there, to choose a different way of being. Because here's the deeper message. Once you realize that the world might not value you for your soul, you stop chasing its approval. You start living from the inside out. You don't need to be useful to matter. You don't need to be strong to be worthy. You don't need to prove anything. The will, this invisible force Schopenhauer talked about, it tries to keep you trapped in patterns. It pushes you towards survival, reproduction, performance. But you have the ability to step back and see it all. He wrote, "Compassion is the basis of morality, and that includes compassion for yourself. It means forgiving yourself for being tired. It means letting go of the need to always be enough for others. It means recognizing that your value isn't in what you give, but in who you are when nothing is expected of you." Most people are so deeply stuck in their roles, they don't even know they're suffering. They think burnout is normal. They think being invisible is just part of growing older. They think self-worth has to be earned. But that's not living. That's just obeying the will without ever asking why. Schopenhauer's mirror doesn't lie. It shows us the system, the hive, the trap. But once you see it, you can begin to step outside of it, not to escape life, but to experience it differently. You're not disposable. You're not just some tool of biology. You're not here just to be used and then forgotten. You are the one who sees, the one who notices, and maybe that's where real life begins. If something here felt like it was finally said out loud for the first time, stay close, subscribe, reflect, and grow with us. There's a quiet strength in seeing clearly, and you're already walking toward it. There comes a point, quietly, somewhere deep inside when you stop. You stop running, you stop proving, you stop trying to be the version of yourself that everyone else wanted. And in that stillness, you begin to see the world doesn't slow down for you. It keeps spinning. People move on. But something in you starts shifting. Something wakes up. A question rises, softly at first, but you hear it. Is this really all I am? You look back at all the effort, the years you gave, the times you stayed quiet, the moments you pushed through when you had nothing left. And maybe, just maybe, you start to realize that you were never truly seen for any of it. You were useful, you were reliable, but were you ever valued for simply existing? Schopenhauer would say this moment of realization is painful but sacred. He knew that awakening often begins in suffering, in the breaking down of what we once believed. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. We thought the world was the hive. We thought being needed meant being loved. We thought being strong meant being enough. But the hive doesn't love the drone, it uses him. And many people, sadly, live their entire lives the same way, being used up by systems, expectations, families, even relationships, without once being truly known. It hurts to see it, but it's also the beginning of something new. Because the truth is, you were never born to be a machine. You're not a function. You're not a title. You're not a provider or protector or placeholder for someone else's happiness. You are a human soul, complex, flawed, emotional, beautiful. And that soul has worth even when it's tired, even when it's confused, even when it has nothing left to give. There's a kind of freedom in realizing you don't have to keep playing the part. Yes, people might not understand your shift. They might call it selfish. They might pull away when you stop sacrificing yourself for their comfort. But your life is not a performance. You don't exist to keep everyone else comfortable while you're falling apart inside. Stepping away from the role isn't weakness. It's wisdom. You get to choose what kind of man or woman you want to be. Not the kind they trained you to become. Not the one who disappears the moment he stops producing. Schopenhauer believed that once we see through the illusions of the world, we can begin to reduce our suffering not by escaping it, but by changing our relationship with it. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom. That hits, doesn't it? Because the moment you stop depending on validation, the moment you stop defining yourself by how others see you, you begin to discover who you really are. And it's scary at first, because outside the hive, there's silence, there's no applause. But there's also peace. There's breathing room, there's truth. No more pretending, no more smiling through the pain just to keep the illusion going. You begin to live from the inside. You start paying attention to what you feel, not what others expect. You slow down, you rest, you heal. And in that healing, you stop chasing roles. You stop bending yourself into shapes to be accepted. You become a whole person again. You begin to build a life not based on usefulness, but on depth. You connect with people who see your soul, not your status. You have conversations that aren't about what you do, but about who you are, what you love, what moves you, what you're still trying to figure out. And you realize finally that you were never disposable. That all along, you were worthy of being seen, known, and loved, even in your quietest, weakest, most human moments. You don't have to wait to be chosen. You can choose yourself. You can walk away from the systems that only wanted your energy but never cared for your soul. You can step out of the pattern. You can live, really live, without apology. And here's something no one says enough. You're allowed to grow past what made you. You're allowed to leave the hive. You're allowed to begin again. The world might not understand this version of you, but that's okay. The world isn't your guide. If you've made it this far, I just want to say something simple but real. You belong here. Not for what you can offer, not for your strength, or your insight, or your survival story. You belong because you're you, because you feel deeply, because you care, because you're waking up, even if it hurts sometimes. This space, Self-Ira, it isn't about being perfect. It's about growing slowly, gently, honestly. It's about unlearning the noise and finding your way back to yourself. So if something in this message sat quietly with you, if it echoed something you felt for years but never said out loud, then I'd love for you to stay. Really. Not just as a viewer, but as part of this quiet, unseen movement of people choosing depth over performance. Subscribe to Self-Ira. Come as you are. No masks, no roles, just truth, healing, and a place to finally feel seen.